Are you ever getting lost in space or just confused on what you're doing while playing Life Not Supported? What resource should I be prioritizing making sure I have enough of? Do I need a fifth roll of duct tape? Or maybe you're just frustrated trying to locate a new crowbar because you lost yours. It's easy to feel like you're up to your neck in strategy and planning when drifting around in Life Not Supported. Luckily for you, I have gone ahead and drifted so you don't have to. My name is Shredded Cheese, and I'm a streamer over on Twitch and a YouTuber who's not afraid to dive headfirst into the vastness of space and drift around until I can figure out what is going on. These tips I'm about to tell you range from no really up to some pretty clever tricks that you likely wouldn't think of. I've included timestamps down in the description if you want to jump around, or you can stay tuned if you want to learn everything there is to know about Life Not Supported. It's easy to see where you and other supplies are during the days, but that changes when the sun retreats behind the planet. Night can lead to the player being unable to see supplies and rocks, which can lead to mistakes in navigation and possibly even losing a life due to not knowing where food, water, or air is. Trying to follow the sun's orbit around the planet seems like an easy way to keep your environment illuminated. Unfortunately, the sun is much faster than you and will inevitably tuck itself to bed behind the planet, leaving you in darkness and possibly out of supplies. Instead, you should focus on building your ship to better illuminate the sky at night so you can have clear views of all the potential aid and threats around you. This can be accomplished by adding high-powered lights to your ship and even taking a light with you when you step off of your ship. Being able to open the crafting menu is crucial to being able to stay alive and keep your ship in tip-top shape. The roll of duct tape is important to be able to accomplish those tasks, like expanding and or replacing parts of your ship. When you die and respawn, you're given a new roll of duct tape to ensure you're able to continue to operate your ship and possibly get back to your body. When you do make it back to your body and recover your items, you will find you now have 2 rolls of duct tape. Do yourself a favor and just get rid of one of those rolls right away, or they will start to stockpile in your inventory. You are unable to place these rolls in storage, so they will continue to clog your inventory until you either get rid of them or no longer have room for more. There are many different items you will need to be collecting in order to stay alive in Life Not Supported. Food, ice or water, and air are the 3 things you need to keep yourself alive and healthy. In the early game, you will need to primarily focus on finding dehydrated food to keep yourself well fed. As the game progresses and you get a potato or 2, food becomes less crucial to hunt down and your oxygen supply will quickly become the limiting factor in your survival. Air tanks are used for the hydroponic chamber, the oven, piloting your ship, and keeping you breathing. Add in that air tanks are one of the least populated in this asteroid belt, and prioritizing the collection of these supplies becomes crucial. Building a supply of backup air and making sure you guide your ship towards air tanks while collecting supplies can help mitigate the need to panic about lack of air and keep your ship supplied as you collect other materials you will need. Part of being alive in Life Not Supported is producing human waste. This occurs once per day, and the noise can catch you off guard if you are not ready. The feces you collect can be stored on a shelf and do have a use in growing crops. However, once your hydroponic chamber starts growing crops, you will no longer have a need to keep stockpiling the waste. These reserves will ultimately pile up and lead to you having less room to store additional materials. I would not be surprised to see the hydroponic chamber need to be refilled after several uses in future updates, but as it currently stands, you only need 1 feces, then you can just toss the rest of those into the void of space. In the event you die and lose some materials to space in Life Not Supported, your body and the spaceship will be able to be found again. On my first playthrough, I died, had to respawn, then chased my ship till I could no longer see my old body and the materials that were in my inventory. Thanks to getting a new roll of duct tape, I was able to keep myself alive, but I was without a lot of supplies, including my crowbar. After an hour or so, I stumbled back into my old body and was able to recover all of those items and give some much needed relief. Not having the crowbar was a huge hassle, and I was fearing that I would not have one for the rest of my gameplay. If you stick around for the final tip, I will tell you how to find a new one if you are in a situation like me and find yourself losing that important tool. Like your dead body, if you lose your ship and are forced to rebuild a new one, you will eventually be able to stumble back into the old ship in the future. It can also be much easier to find your old ship if you leave the beacon on, so make sure you don't skimp out on building one and make sure it is always turned on. If you haven't caught on by now, keeping yourself well fed and hydrated is crucial to being able to stay alive and will require a steady flow of water to be able to keep up with those health bars. Keeping a large supply of ice can help keep this worry low, but being able to keep water or food at the ready in your inventory is an even smarter play. Sips can be made with very few supplies, and having a second or even third can be the difference between dying of thirst and being able to get out to another ship and back without any trouble. I personally like to have 3 sips that I keep in rotation so I can have 1 with food and 1 with water in my inventory while I have another one filling up in the ice melter. Being able to avoid stopping what I'm doing because I'm about to die due to malnourishment means I can go further and build faster to be able to progress through the story. Although it is not technically required for survival, the crowbar is important to be able to keep your ship tidy and aid in collecting materials. You get your crowbar at the very start of the game and carry it with you everywhere. This is because on top of not being able to place it down in a storage box, you will be using it constantly to remove air thrusters, collect scrap material, and open white boxes with food supplies in them. Now, don't ask me why a crowbar is needed to open a styrofoam container, but I guess your grip strength is just poor in space? If you do find yourself without your crowbar because you lost it along with your body after respawning, it is possible to find a new one. The other ships and stations that you will be able to find as you wander around in space have a chance of spawning a crowbar if there is not one currently in your inventory. This means that in the event of disaster and death, you should refocus yourself and prioritize on finding your body or searching out one of these crafts to get a new crowbar back in your inventory. At this point, you should have all the knowledge needed to be a successful astronaut in the game as it progresses. Feel free to let me know down in the comments if I forgot anything. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks, and I will see you all next time.